Training out of Jackson Wink MMA and his BMF ranch in Albuquerque, New Mexico, by way of Denver, Colorado. Here is the perennial contender, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Moved up to the welterweight division after realizing a lot of success at 155 pounds and has been a man on a killing mission ever since. The two-division contender, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, back under the UFC spotlight tonight.
Cerrone is very dangerous on the feet or on the ground. Solid Muay Thai, great submissions, and he's a very hard worker. He's been taken to the limit several times in championship bouts, and there's no quit in this guy.
So here is Conor McGregor making the walk once again, the only simultaneous two-division champion in UFC history, and really a guy who has taken the sport by storm. His win over Jose Aldo, Nate Diaz, most recently Eddie Alvarez. Remarkable what McGregor has accomplished in a short time in the UFC.
Conor McGregor has that it factor, along with a fantastic and creative striking game, a very good ground game, and extreme confidence in himself. All these make for a fan-favorite combination.
Our tail of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. McGregor is 29. Cerrone is 34. McGregor will have the 1-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the introductions, we go to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Herb Dean. And now, this is the moment UFC fans around the world have been waiting for. Live from the sold-out T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's time! Live round in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a Muay Thai kickboxer, holding a professional record of 34 wins, 11 losses, and 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Donald Cowboy Cerrone! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a kickboxer, holding a professional record of 21 wins, 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Dublin,
You've been given your instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We will have a clean fight. Touch gloves, let's make it official.
They touch him up, and we are underway.
You ready to fight? Ready.
Alright guys, what's going on? So it's been a while since I've made a video. I figured what better way to come back than to do some UFC 246 predictions. We predicted 245 before. My predictions didn't go very well. I don't think. I'm trying to remember. Okay, now I have to look at the card. Hold on. Now I have to know. I don't think they went very well. I know the last fight night went good. What was it, 165, 166? It went well. So, I picked Faber, which he lost. I picked Jose Aldo, which he lost. I picked Nunes, okay. I picked Holloway, and then I picked, yeah, I won 1 for 5, so that didn't go very well. Fight nights, no, I must have done a different one. But anyway, UFC 246 happening tomorrow night. Technically, today's Saturday here. So with that being said, we're gonna just do the main card. Now, I will admit, two of these fights, I'm not too sure who either of the fighters are, so forgive me for that. I've heard of Alexei, but just doesn't ring a bell. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him fight, so those two fights for me are going to be hard to predict, so I'm just going to choose a fight. I'm going to go into detail of why I've chosen this person to win the fight, but for those two, I'm not too sure, so forgive me for that. So they're starting off with Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Now, this for me, I feel like it should be the fight before the co-main, or at least the co-main event. Anthony Showtime Pettis, a really exciting fighter. You're always expecting excitement when he fights. You're always expecting crazy shit to happen. And I don't know, man. Like, former lightweight champion, 22-9. You got this Carlos Diego Ferreira, who's 16-2. Well, I don't understand the decision for them to kick off the main card. Like, obviously you want to kick off the main card with an exciting bout, but I would put the heavyweights there. Personally, I think Anthony Showtime Pettis is more deserving than a main card opening bout. But again, you want to kick off the pay-per-view with some excitement, and I understand that. So, with that being said, I am going with Anthony Showtime Pettis. I think he looked great in his last couple performances. His fight with Tony Ferguson, he was doing amazing before he obviously broke his hand. He knocked out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Was that his last fight? I can't remember. Let me just check on that because I'm not too sure. But yeah, he looked great versus Tony Ferguson. He looked great against Stephen Wonderboy. He lost to Nate Diaz. His last fight was August 17th, UFC 241. He lost to Diaz in the co-main event. That's right, I forgot about that. That fight wasn't as exciting as I expected it to be. Then again, it's Nate's a slow start, and it was only 3 rounds, so I guess I could see that, but he looked great against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson for sure. He knocked him out in the second round right at the end there. And then Nate Diaz, he didn't really get anything going against Nate, but again, with Nate he can take a lot of damage, so you can't really fault him for that. But I am going Anthony Pettis. I'm rambling on here, so yeah, I'm gonna take Anthony Pettis. I'm gonna say he gets a knockout. Usually with Anthony Pettis, sometimes he goes to decision, but usually either he finishes or he gets finished. So I'm gonna go Anthony Pettis by knockout for sure. So the next fight is the bantamweight division. It is Brian Kelleher versus Odie Osborne. Now, this is one of the fights that I don't know who these people are. So Brian is 19-10 in his MMA career, and Odie Osborne is 6-2 and 1 no contest. So again, I'm spitballing here. Like, I'm shooting my shot because I don't know anything about either of these guys. So I'll go Osborne by decision. Again, I have nothing else to go off of. I'm not gonna go into their careers and check everything, because that would make this video like an hour long. So I'll just pick Osborne. Heavyweight division, we have Maurice Green, who is 8-3 in his MMA career, against Alexei Oleinik. I hope I'm saying that right. Oh, holy shit, he's had a lot of fights. He is 57-13-1. I do have to check how old he is, because that's crazy. I know Alistair Overeem has a lot of fights as well. How old is this guy? He's 42. Okay. That's crazy. From the Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, 57-13. That's fucking nuts. Um, the thing is with older fighters, and it doesn't always tend to be this way with it just depends on who the fighter is, but when you get older and older, obviously your body starts to wear down. It starts to take, you take damage in fights and it starts to wear on you, wear and tear. That's what they say. Now for some fighters, they can push through that, and they can they're just so well rounded in martial arts that they can just do whatever. But they're like Overeem, for example. He's had a lot of fights, but he's had a lot of fights where he hasn't looked great because of his age and he's slowing down, especially as a heavyweight. So again, records in MMA, they don't mean anything. When you look at certain records, it's just like Anthony Pettis, 22-9, right? That doesn't, like, 9 losses. That doesn't sound great. But I mean, look at the wins that he's had. Like, he just knocked out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson not even a year ago, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson challenged Taiwan. And everyone thought Wonderboy was the #1 welterweight. Showtime knocked him out, and now Showtime's kicking off the pay-per-view, right? So records don't mean much to me. It's the fight IQ, it's the strength, the grappling, etc., etc. Not too sure about this one either. Again, I don't know too much about either of these fighters, but I'm going to take a shot in the dark. I'm going to say Alexei is one of those fighters that slows down. The wear and tear is going to get to him. I mean, again, with 71 fights in your MMA career, he might even hang it up because he is 42, so he might retire after this fight. But I'm going to say Maurice Green's going to knock him out in the, I'm going to say the first round. Heavyweights, their fucking power is massive, and they usually go for the kill, so I'm going to say he knocks him out round 1, and then Alexei probably retires. So that brings us to the co-main event, which is a woman bantamweight fight. It is Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington. I think is how you say her name. Is that the one that faced Ronda Rousey a couple years back? I can't remember. But actually, I think if she has, both these women have faced Ronda, yeah. Anyway, co-main event of the evening. I think this is where Anthony Pettis and Carlos Diego Ferreira should be, but nonetheless, Pennington looked good in her last fight. I think she's the one that got I want to say rear naked choke. Now I have to make sure that I'm right on that, because if I'm not, I gotta correct myself. So I think she had a rear naked choke last win, or it might have been a couple fights ago, but I know she had a rear naked choke somewhere. Actually, I didn't know this. This fight was actually scheduled back in October for UFC 243, and it was canceled. I did not know that. No, her last win was July 20th. It was by decision. Okay, now I have to, hold on. Now I have to find out where she got the rear naked choke. She did lose to Amanda Nunes May 12th, 2018, UFC 224, and then she lost to Germaine, who actually just challenged Ronda. Or not Ronda, sorry, excuse me, Amanda. She beat Machete, though. Where did she get... Okay, all these are decision wins. Where did she get the rear naked choke? I swear she did. Yeah, there it is. Okay. It was back in 2015. It was 5 years ago. So, take that out of the... Actually, another thing I did not know, I just found this out. They've actually fought before, Pennington and Holly Holm. I did not know that. Holly Holm won by decision. Interesting. I think it's going to go the same way as that fight did back in 2015 UFC 184. I think Holly Holm is going to win, but I think she's going to stop her this time. I believe she's going to get the knockout. Yeah, man, Holly Holm, she's experienced in boxing. She's like, well, as you know, her head kicks are fucking deadly. Her kicks in general. If she catches you with one of those kicks, you're done. You are done. So I'm going to say Holly Holm by knockout. So far I've got Anthony Pettis by knockout, Osborne in the bantamweight division by decision. I have Green winning in round 1 KO against Lexi, and then I have Holly Holm defeating Pennington by knockout. I'm going to say in round 2. So I have all finishes so far. Not the way it always works, but hey man, as a fight fan, you want finishes, right? So that brings us to the main event, welterweight division main event of the evening, UFC 246. It is Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who has a MMA career record of 36 wins, 13 losses, 1 no contest, versus the return, the notorious Conor McGregor, who has a MMA record of 21 wins, 4 losses. So this one, man, like I'm gonna predict another finisher. A lot of people doubted Conor. A lot of people are still doubting Conor, including Dana White. Dana White thinks he doesn't look good at 170. I watched the weigh-in. McGregor looked fucking great. Like, he didn't look tired or dehydrated or out of shape or anything. Weighed in exactly at 170. He finally got it, because I know when I watched an interview a few days ago, he said he was about 160, 165, so he ended up getting to 170. He looks great, man. You can tell he's put on the muscles. So he looks motivated. He looks happy again. He was very nice, humble in the press conference. Everyone wanted the crazy, let's talk shit McGregor, but you know, McGregor, he respects Cerrone, and Cerrone obviously respects him back. And it's nice to see, you know, a lot of fighters, they feel like they have to talk shit in order to sell the pay-per-view, right? But for this, you have the returning McGregor, which is fucking massive, obviously enough. And you have Cowboy Cerrone. Just the story of it, the story of this fight is enough to draw people in, because you have the returning Conor, who, if he wins and Khabib wins in April, Dana already said Conor's going to get that rematch. And if Khabib and Tony fall out again, Conor said, hey Dana, I can step right in and fight whoever. And two-weight world champion, obviously we knew about Jose Aldo and Eddie Alvarez. He's beaten both those guys to be the first ever doubles Titanius, I hope I'm saying that right, champion in the UFC. And obviously with Cowboy Cerrone, anywhere, anytime, he fights anywhere, he fights everybody. Has the most wins in UFC history, the most knockdowns in UFC history, and I think the most finishes in UFC history. And he has something else too, something about submissions. Fucking crazy, dude. If you look up UFC records, he holds them. He holds them all, right? So, with that being said, though, I am gonna take Conor McGregor. A lot of people are saying, oh, hey, if Cowboy takes the fight to the ground. Cowboy's already stated numerous times, hey, we want to give people a show. And I'm not going to give, giving them a show is not going to stand, or take them down, grapple, you know, fucking lay on them for 5 rounds, right? So, it sounds like Cerrone's going to go in there and he's going to stand with Conor, which is a bad idea right from the get-go. So, Cowboy in his last couple fights, he beat Al Iaquinta, which was a great fight. The thing is, though, the Tony Ferguson fight is kind of iffy, because it looked like he was kind of winning a little bit, and then Tony busted up his nose, and he blew his nose. Well, I think it was broken, or something, and he blew his nose. I remember, and his eye fucking puffed up like a fucking beach ball. And he couldn't fight anymore, so Tony won that fight by KO, and I don't see how that's a knockout. I don't know why they don't just do referee stoppage and oh, Tony knocked him out. He didn't, though. Cowboy was obviously still awake. He never got knocked out, so I don't know. That just the winning by KO for Tony just doesn't make sense to me. Just do it, referee. Stop. Like, he didn't knock him out. Where did he knock? Like, where did he knock Cowboy unconscious? He never did, right? So, but nonetheless, Tony won that fight. I think he would have. I think Tony would have won regardless, but it sucks that it had to end that way. And then Justin Gaethje knocked the fuck out of Cerrone in his last fight. So he's coming off 2 losses, so he's clearly motivated. He's having a big fight against Conor. And honestly, man, a lot of people think Cerrone's a slow starter. I think when he gets in there and he stands up with people, that's when he's at his best. Like, that's like this is going to be a standing fucking warfare. This is going to be an amazing stand-up fight. Obviously, both these guys want the knockout. With Conor, let me just type in Conor's name real quick. With Conor, they keep saying this on the press and all the interviews. His last win was in 2016, and it was against Eddie Alvarez. So basically, Conor, he lost to Nate Diaz by submission. Then he came back, beat Nate in the rematch, UFC 202, and then he knocked out Eddie Alvarez in convincing fashion. Like, it was probably the most lopsided title fight of all time. It was fucking crazy. Like, Eddie Alvarez he did not belong in the octagon. Like what Conor said, you don't belong in the octagon with me. He was right. When Conor says something, it's usually true. And that night, it was proven, man. Eddie Alvarez got fucking dominated, destroyed. It was crazy. I wish I could look up the statistics of that fight, because Conor landed so many shots, and that knockout at the end, in round 2, man, it was left, right, dropped Eddie, and then fucking hammer fists. Oh, it was crazy. And then, obviously, 2018, he lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov by submission. I think it was a neck crank, I believe they call it. That was October 6th, 2018, so it's been over a year, man. Been over a year since Conor came back, but you know what? He looks great at welterweight. He looks great at 170. All these people saying, oh, these guys are way too big for Conor, and Jorge Masvidal's too big for Conor. Dana White's saying this shit. Conor McGregor doesn't care, man. Conor and Cerrone, they don't care. They will fight anyone at any time, and that's why this fight is so intriguing. For Conor, you win, you get Khabib. You're back in the game. You're back in the UFC, and you're here to fucking take over again, right? And he wants Khabib. It sounds like he wants Usman, maybe. For Cerrone, you're coming off 2 losses. People are counting you out. People are saying, oh, Conor's going to knock him out. Conor's going to dominate him. This is just easy money. Cerrone's got paid to take a dive, right? Cerrone's washed, all this other stuff. So for Cerrone, for him, it's, hey, I can still go with the best. Conor being one of the best, I can still take him. I can still be one of the top guys in this division. Or in the entire UFC, even. So, with that being said, UFC 246 main event of the evening. Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking about how people are counting Cerrone out. I'm gonna be one of those people. I think Conor's gonna knock him out in round 1. I think Cerrone's game plan to give the people a show, like, I have that mindset. But with that being said, Conor looks great. He's put on muscle, which means he's got even more power than he did before. He's motivated to come back. He wants Khabib, and it doesn't look like he's going to let anyone get in the fucking way of that. He wants Khabib. He wants the rematch, and he's going to get it by any means necessary. Now, if that means destroying Cowboy, he's going to do it. So, honestly, man, I'll go even further. I think Conor's gonna knock him out in the first 3 minutes. I think they're gonna trade and stand. I think Cerrone's gonna, I don't know, man. I think Conor's gonna just knock the fuck out of Cerrone. I think the trading and standing with Conor McGregor is not a good idea for him from the get-go because of his power. His power is probably one of the best we've ever seen, if not the best. His left hook is massive. Kick to the body, kick to the head. Cerrone's gonna try something fancy, something crazy. Conor's gonna catch him, and it's gonna be all over. So, just to recap, I have Anthony Showtime Pettis knockout in round 2. I have Osborne in the bantamweight by decision over Keeler. I have Maurice Green over Alexei Olenek by round 1 knockout. I have Holly Holm over Raquel Pennington by round 2 knockout, and then I have McGregor over Cerrone round 1 knockout. So I have all knockouts except for the bantamweight fight. Probably not the way it's gonna go, but hey, man. Honestly, I do think Conor's gonna win by round 1 knockout. I don't think it's if it goes to round 2, I'm honestly gonna be shocked. I will be shocked. I think Cerrone's gonna get knocked out like 3 minutes in, like I said. But and that's not even like I love Conor, man. I'm a huge fan of Conor, right? So obviously I want Conor to win, so he gets the Khabib rematch. When I do these predictions, all bias is set aside, man. I look at the statistics. I look at the way these guys have looked in the last couple fights. Obviously, with Conor, he hasn't fought in a year, so it's kind of hard to see. But just by the way he's acting, by the way he looks, I'm going based off that. Cerrone hasn't looked great, man. Hasn't looked great his last 2 fights. He's coming in. Conor looks massive. He looks ready to go. He looks hungry again. I think it's going to be a bad night for Cerrone. So with that being said, those are my predictions. I think Conor McGregor's going to knock out Cowboy Cerrone in under 3 minutes, and I do think Khabib and Tony's going to happen. I'll do that prediction video when it gets down the line, and I think we're going to have Conor and Khabib probably in the summertime for the rematch for the title, and then I'll do that prediction when it gets to it. But that's gonna be it for me. I'm going to play this fight, so I'll just turn off my microphone. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys predict for the main card, or just for any fight in general. Do you think McGregor's gonna get the win, or do you think Cerrone's too much for him? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Here we go. And how about the buzz in this arena and just the sheer volume from these fans as Conor McGregor makes his return here tonight. Now, how will he approach the early portions of this fight? That is the big question. We know he's had some good finishes in his UFC career, but a lot of people think he'll want to feel this thing out and get his feet under him early. Pretty good jab there, Joe.
Oh, powerful right leg kick.
Joe, your thoughts on what we'll see in this matchup tonight?
Donald Cerrone's kicks are some of the best in all of mixed martial arts.
Conor McGregor and try to further expose what surfaced tonight as an obvious weakness. Oh, he's got double underhooks here in the clinch. Good spot to be.
And he's in the Muay Thai clinch.
Oh, now the hook in the clinch by Cerrone.
This could be it right here.
Oh, big left hook over the top.
Oh, you're tripped.
Back to the feet.
Oh, and he eats a shot.
Well, his opponent's got the read now, Joe, as he lands the punch to the head. He's got to change up his striking pattern and the tempo, or he's going to continue to be vulnerable to that count.
He's hurt.
He's got him hurt here. Now goes in and secures the takedown.
Oh, he gets reversed. He's in half guard.
Big body shot.
Body. kick, look at that. Right hand forward now, switching to southpaw.
Huge liver kick. That might do it.
He's hurt to the body.
Looks a little wobbly on his feet.
This could be it.
And busy as he looks to improve position here. All right, 45 seconds now to go in the round.
He lands a big shot from the bottom.
Cerrone getting worked here, Joe, from the top. He's absorbing some fairly significant damage here.
Oh, he's got an arm triangle here. He's got the arm secured. Look at that. That is high-level ground game there.
5 minutes in the books. Submission attempt here late in the round. There's the horn. So round is over, saved by the bell to some extent. Joe, it looked like he was really going to be submitted there potentially, but the end of the round comes. Back to the stools they go.
And here...
The original Arianny Celeste, good to have her in the building as usual.
Ready to fight? Ready.
Round 2 here.
Big roundhouse kick KO for the victory.
Well, yeah, Joe, that fight was over as soon as that kick made contact. And with this particular striker, you are playing with poison if you don't get that guard up. You know these kicks are coming. You know they're coming in bunches. And that was a near-perfect land. Nailed the target. Full extension on the kick. And that's one of the better highlights we've seen here recently inside the octagon.
Let's see that again.
We now go inside the octagon where Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean is going to stop for this contest at 3 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by knockout, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Well, we're getting used to saying it. Conor McGregor, your winner yet again as he continues what has been one of the most remarkable legacies in UFC history. And when the lights are at their brightest, as they were here tonight, the notorious Conor McGregor seems to come through with one of his vintage performances. A huge win for Conor McGregor on the big stage here tonight.